Now, what about love? Loving the narcissistic people, loving in a toxic relationship, because after all, according to 1 Corinthians, love never fails, right? Well, kind of. It depends on what you mean when you talk about love. My name is Kevin, and this is The Royal We. Now, I get this question. It pops up on my comment section in videos, and that is 1 Corinthians says to love, because love never fails. Right. Well, love never fails, but you need to understand the concept of love according to the ancient literature of the Bible, because the way in which they viewed love is different than the way in which you and I view love. As a matter of fact, as I've talked about many times before, the word love didn't even exist in the ancient literature. The Hebrew people didn't have the word love, nor did the Greek, nor did the Romans. The word was more accurately described as agape. And when you look at the definition of agape, it actually translates more to charitable. A charitable act of kindness. Now, if we take that and we allow that to be love, our understanding of love, then of course it could never fail. What fails about being charitable to somebody else? Well, let's look at it this way. If you see a homeless person on the side of the road and you decide to give them money, and you give them money, well, you've blessed them. So what's the failure? Nothing. You leave the situation feeling good because you helped somebody in need. They leave the situation feeling good because they received a blessing in their life. That has a good outcome. That never fails. Likewise, if you were to take food and you were to offer food to people who are hungry, once again, what you're doing is a charitable act of kindness. You bring the food and you bless somebody with that food, and that is the reward to you. So you feel blessed because you were able to provide. They feel blessed because they received something that they didn't have before. Everybody walks away happy. And so now we can understand what it means when it says love never fails. Because when you act out of agape, when you are a charitable person, that can never fail. You feel blessed by blessing somebody else who also feels blessed by receiving your blessing. That is what 1 Corinthians is talking about. By the way, try saying that 10 times real fast. I wonder if I could do that again. You feel blessed by blessing somebody who is blessed by receiving your blessing. Everybody now. No, we're not going to say it again. But you understand the point. So why, though, does it seem to fail in toxic relationships with narcissistic people? Because we are not looking at love in these situations as a charitable act. Instead, you are trying to bring giving and love into a situation where you have expectations in return. Wow. Now, all of a sudden, you are in fact set up for failure, because this type of love can fail. If love is something where you go and you do certain things and you expect that these certain things are done back for you, we can call it common courtesy, we can call it mutual respect, whatever you want to call it. If you want to use this as your example of love, if you want to use this as your outline, if you will, then it can fail. That love can and does fail all the time. And you know this is true because this is exactly what happened in the toxic relationship that you have dealt with. This is exactly what went down, is it not? You presented love into the situation. You gave into the situation, which is all good. But the only difference is you didn't do it out of a charitable act of kindness. You did it with hopes and with expectations. The hope is that it will be received and reciprocated. The expectation is that your love will be received and honored or acknowledged even. That's the hope. Your hope is to get something good in return from your giving. This is not what's written in Corinthians. This is not the agape that Jesus lived by. This is not even the love that it says God has for his people. Listen, if you want to bring in scripture, if you want to talk about the love of the Bible, you have to understand the context and you need to know what it means. There is no expectations or hopes in that love. The love, the act of love that they did, the act of blessing people, the act of God giving to people was 100% a reward in and of itself. There were no expectations put on anybody. This is why still to this day, we have free will and the choice to believe. The choice to believe in God. God's not forcing us. It's our choice. Do you understand that? So with this in mind, now you can understand why love does fail in toxic relationships, because attached to the love that you give is that hope of mutual courtesy, common courtesy, mutual respect. It's not going to happen. So what you need to do is, in fact, if you're in this place where that is where you're at, you're waiting, you're hoping for mutual respect, common courtesy, and you're using, I'm going to keep loving as a way to get it, then it's going to let you down and it's going to fail you. Because that type of love fails. Anything with expectation, anything with your hopes attached can in fact fail. And the deeper and the harder your hope is, and the deeper and the harder your expectations are, the more painful the failure is. We need to understand this concept. So now you can go on and you could love, listen, you could love the worst of people. You can love the criminally minded out there. You could love anything. But what's going to hurt you is your ideas behind that love, your hopes and expectations with that love. If we learn to let those go, sure, you could love a narcissistic person, just like giving a homeless person a sandwich, right? You know they can't repay you. You know they can't give you anything back, but you want to bless them. So you're happy in that. And maybe they take the sandwich, maybe they throw it on the ground, but it doesn't matter because you are joy-filled by your offering. That type of love will never fail you, right? But if you're waiting for them to love you in return, to treat you right in return, no, that will fail you, right? It already has, and it will continue to fail you until you understand this concept, all right? Love without expectations is what we see in 1 Corinthians, not the type of love that you have for a toxic relationship where you're waiting for things to get better. Listen, I want to be a part of your healing journey. Down below, you'll find access to one-on-one appointments with me. We could have a telephone call, a WhatsApp or FaceTime video call, or text message call. It's up to you. You'll find direct links to my calendar down below in the description box. Also, every Monday night is Royal We Live Chat at 9 p.m. Central. Every Saturday morning is Royal We Fellowship at 9 a.m. Central. Both links are down below in the description box. Follow me on Instagram at Join the Royal We, and I'll be back with more videos right here on the Royal We.